And all right, checking 1, 2, 3. Okay, my audio is working. All right, so, all right, hello everybody. My name is Reno Viarco, and yeah, back at it again with another sketchbook tour from the 600-page sketchbook. Yeah, I mean, let's just get straight to it. I don't think anything really changed with the cover or the back, considering last time. So we're just gonna skip past that and jump, just go straight into the book. All right. So, yeah, the second 150. All right, I think I talked about these first few couple of pages in the last sketchbook tour just because I was just going overtime, whatever. So essentially, yeah, prints I got from another artist, doodles from another artist as well, stuff I got from other artists, doodle from another artist. Yeah, so I'm just gonna skip right past these and to get to the stuff I haven't talked about. Yeah, all right, here we go. I think this is new. All right, so this is page 158. So this is where we actually start the actual tour, I guess, right? So let me fix this camera a little bit. All right. Okay. So, doodle of my persona, Gilbert Geller, in a car. I'll talk about this character later on, and yeah, because yeah, let's just hold off for that. And these two are two robot characters, and this sketch is of Transformer characters. This one being Metroplex. These two Hamurai and Sriracha being BotBots, and I was making little stories about them in my head because I have them on my table here, so yeah. All right. So, all right. So these two pages again are of my persona guy Gilbert Geller making a very pleased expression and a very conniving expression. I don't think there was really context. I was just doodling here. So, and okay, hold on, let me adjust this a little bit. There we go. I think this gets me in a place where I don't have to keep constantly shifting my sketchbook. But anyway, all right, back to it. My two main personas, Reno, which is a little robot I usually use to represent myself, and Gilbert Geller, this giraffe character I constantly use all the time. Just these two switching outfits, Reno wearing that kind of outfit Gilbert has, and Gilbert wearing the kind of Metroplex sweater that Reno is usually wearing. This one, these are just gestural sketches that I was doing as a part of like this little drawing exercise that was going on during a live artist Twitch stream in which we were on this website. I forgot what it's called, but it just generates different post pictures to use as like art references, and we just did these as little doodles in under 30 seconds, I think. More doodles of my Sona being evil sciencey or whatever. I mean, like, it kind of sucks because, yeah, so like he's my persona and he's supposed to be like a mad evil scientist, but I don't really have ideas of how to draw that. So there is my lame attempt. And here's him again with another character who's called Orion, who's a little sheep guy who basically they were like online besties for like at least 10 years or so because they're writing this super long, totally not fan fiction, totally original work that's comprised of all the genres ever. Here's them collaborating in real life. And these are two characters of mine, Revo, not to be confused with Reno. Like, I know. But like Reno, who's a little robot, Ekis, who's also a little robot, and they're besties. Another Hamurai and Metroplex sketch, another Gilbert Geller doodle. And yeah, I don't know, I was just trying to play around with being expressive and whatnot. So that's what all that's about. And I think these were probably like requests or something that I was taking on Instagram. Just very doodly requests of TFA Blitzwing, Baver's Wheelie, I think. I don't remember, or Frenzy. I don't remember Baver's designs that well. And then someone's OC with Cuddletooth, who's a little BotBot character. My OC's Starless Starlight, who's like a spider animatronic, and Gilbert Geller. And then this one is Arya, who is a deer adopt that I got some time. No, moose adopt that I got some time ago. She's just chilling. Here's me trying to draw a cheetah, I think. in, I think, Rumble or Frenzy from G1 Transformers. I don't remember totally well. Alright, more Gilbert Geller doodling here. I feel like these are part of like whenever I have these just random doodles, I'm pretty sure they're part of like some Instagram store and I use these as like the background. Anyway, more doodling in April 5. This is like the show version of BotBot's Frostoradu after he's reading Burgertron's fanfiction. And Cuddletooth, Gilbert Geller in like a baby style or whatever. And Gilbert Geller holding up Orion for some reason. Like, I legit don't know the context. And then Starlight being like a Mary Sue and Gilbert Geller telling her to calm down. I don't know. And then here's some actual attempts at me trying to draw a giraffe like in real life looking, but yeah. Like, I know I draw Gilbert Geller in a kind of way that he doesn't really look like a giraffe, but I don't care, that's how I draw him. Then May 16, these are some BotBot OCs of mine. They are dinosaur plushies, this one being Pteranodon, and this one being Arkylosaurus, like, you know, like a dinosaur. I mean, like a pirate. That's why he has that pirate kind of get up. And this is Gilbert Geller being forced to take a shower, I think. And alright, okay, so let's talk about this Lemon character because he will repeat various times throughout the sketchbook. Okay, so basically this is a BotBot OC named Lemonade. I created him after listening to Dave's Lemon song, which is something that happens during Transformers BotBots. So yeah, so there's this security guard character named Dave. I'm just summarizing it. And then he's singing this song about how life gives him lemons because he got fired from his job because he's trying to capture the BotBots, but he like ruins them all too much and he gets fired. And so as far as BotBots go, I on purpose avoided listening to every and all songs in there because for me it's kind of cringe when a show just breaks out in song. And I wasn't wrong. Oh my goodness. I mean, all the songs, honestly, except for the Signs of Lines songs, they aren't actually, no, okay. Okay, basically, I do not like songs in children's media. Yes, there's a lot of songs I did not like in BotBots, but they were okay, except for Science Alliance and Burgertron's little Hamilton rap. But yeah, so one night I was listening to Dave's Lemon song, and then I kept listening to it over and over for like at least 5 hours straight. And then from that, because oh yeah, I was also lying on the hard floor too. And while I was listening to that, yeah, this character came out from that, because as soon as after those 5 hours were done, I was hit with the idea to draw this character idea out. And then I'll show the old original idea here. And will I show the new one? Okay, I'll show the new one later, I think. Anyway, or if I end up not, I'll show it here. But anyway, here's the original idea I had for this character. And I remember staying up past midnight to make this to actually post online because I was overwhelmed by the idea of it. Basically, he's like a little dwarf lemon tree that was in the dark side of the mall that was left abandoned, and Bonsai is who was like the tree he was like the main tree lost bot character in the show, because she came from a store from what's called the dark side of the mall, which is like the abandoned part. So Lemonade would be a BotBot who was activated in that part of the mall. It just, he was never actually taken out, brought to the lost and found. He was just kind of left there to like die and whatever. That's so morbid, but anyway. But it's actually Dave BotBot who actually sees Lemonade, takes him home, and actually takes care of him to become like a living tree. And then so after a while, with Dave's care, Lemonade is like revitalized to be like a little guy. But he's like a dwarf lemon tree, but not really just a dwarf lemon tree. He's like a stunted dwarf lemon tree, because like dwarf lemon trees get to a certain size, but this guy, he doesn't grow to be as big as like an actual dwarf lemon tree. Like for BotBots, the sizing of every character is like, it's not super consistent with like what they transform into, but especially for Lemonade, he just grows to the size of like a house plant as a tree. So yeah, and that's what this little guy is. And so his personality is just very soft, sweet, and caring and stuff. So yeah, and so here's some little doodles about that, and I'll probably talk about it more as the sketchbook goes on. But anyway, back to the rest here. More Gilbert Geller doodles. Don Quixote, who I talked about in the other sketchbook tour thing. I think the specific Instagram poll question thing or response thing someone gave to me was like, if Gilbert Geller had like the recipe to the last cookies ever, and then my response was that he'd eat the recipe paper and then he'd eat the last cookie and then laugh as everybody cries, something like that. More doodling of him. Like, now that I look at it, this looks like super old. Like, even though I carry around this big thing a lot, I don't actually like flip through it a lot. So it's like, wow, he looks like very different than how I see him now. Anyway, him. He's looking over a beach and whatever. And more of him looking over a beach. And yeah. And more of Lemonade and more about his personality and whatever. So Lemonade, he actually resides in Dave's house in my own story for him. He actually is at Dave's house, but the day Dave discovers Burgertron and Dimlet, he starts, talking about it, right? So I imagined when he got home, he starts talking about it. And Lemonade at Dave's house, he's just acting like a normal houseplant, but he's also tending to cleaning everything, making sure everything's all neat and tidy, and then taking care of other houseplants that Dave decides that he's gonna get because he's such a green thumb that his tree is alive. And so Lemonade, at some point, he follows Dave back to the mall and just has like shenanigans and whatever. And so this is just Lemonade looking at the computer in the security room, looking at what Dave's watching all day when he's just not working. Then he sees like a Lemonade ad and then he cries because he's a big crybaby, or at least that's how I imagined him originally, I think. And then Ringling, who's actually the activity log that Dave's actually supposed to be doing his job on. Ringling, she's just kind of annoyed because he's a big crybaby because he thinks that Dave's gonna replace him just because he saw this lemon tree ad, but it's like, no, calm down. And yeah, more of Lemonade and stuff. So in the original BotBots, it's kind of like normal for BotBots to like eat off of each other if they're like food or something like that, right? And same thing for Lemonade in a way, because he's actually like a lemon tree, so he makes lemons. So other than like the main lemons that run down his sides, or like his front part, the lemons that he grows, he actually uses to make different foods and stuff. So he would eat, like, for example, cookies made out of lemons or make lemonade out of his lemons, and that's not seen as a weird thing, at least to BotBots in general. So yeah, drinking lemonade, crying, thinking good thoughts. Alright, in this part, me and the online mute, we were talking about what if Megatron became a BotBot in his alt mode. We decided it was going to be like a cheap plastic water gun. And then so this was like me doodling rough ideas, like what if he became a BotBot and he just hanged out with Burgertron, because Tron, both of their names, I'm pretty sure they would like fight and whatever, just because Megatron's like headstrong personality, but the fact that he's also like a little baby man toy robot, like he'll drive him nuts to become a BotBot. Because I think the idea was like Megatron being punished for his war crimes, he just, instead of just going to like normal prison or get tortured or whatever, he just is forced into the hollow form of a BotBot and just thrown into BotBot society by the other Cybertronians. Because I think it's funny to think of like the BotBots being seen by Cybertronians as like this little nature reserve of little people that they don't touch or bother because they have their own contained ecosystem. But in this case, they decide to throw Megatron in there as a little BotBot guy so he gets to suffer and pay for his crimes. And while that might not seem like a lot, you gotta consider like how kind of like dumb and simple BotBots are compared to like Cybertronians, who are like very complex transforming robot aliens who've been alive for millions of years. But just consider like that. Consider Megatron being like a warlord, being condensed into like this tiny little plastic gun into this society of little guys who just spend their days having fun and gossiping with each other. So the idea is like he's going mad from it because he's trying to tell everybody like, oh, how he's an alien robot warlord guy and he's gonna rule over them or something like that. But then they're all teasing him. They're like, oh, you're crazy. Oh, you're a weirdo guy. Haha, pointing and laughing. So the idea is like, for this comic was just the Lost Bots befriend Megatron after a bunch of shenanigans and stuff. And then here's Megatron and Burgertron putting aside their little pettiness with each other because they both want to be leaders of something. Just putting each other differences and like how they're kind of like looking to the night sky, because in BotBots there's that opening scene where Burgertron just staring at the stars and saying how it brings him warmth to his meaty core. And then, because I really like that as a tie-in back to like Transformers as a franchise, but not actually going into it. And so the idea of this comic is that Burgertron's talking about that, and then Megatron is like, they're not like little random dots in the distance, they're like stars. And then Burgertron's like, that's silly, they're just heat lamps, you're crazy, you're dumb. And then he's making fun of Megatron, saying, wow, they call my fan fictions wild, what is that? And then Burgertron is really wondering, he's like, I wonder what's out there in space. And then Megatron's like, I know what's out there in space. And then Megatron continues to say, my Decepticon forces are waiting for me to come back as leader and bring them to the power to defeat the Autobots and blah blah blah, and the whole world will be ours, and we'll take over Cybertron and Earth and blah blah blah. And then he's going a little crazy, bit passionate there, kind of cringe. And then after being cringe, Burgertron just kind of staring at him, and Burgertron's like, oh, okay, all right. And yeah, that's the idea with that. And then right here is Reno Doodles of Mysona, Reno, and more Gilbert Gellert stuff. And yeah, here's Fishbook, who's a mute on Instagram, OC, talking about how my OCs are edible. I forgot the context. And then, oh yeah, because I have various BotBots that are just like plants or vegetables and stuff. And here is this giant Transformer guy saying, oh yeah, your BotBots are very edible or something to me. And then here's Calablasta, who is a Calabasas squash, and Bukong, who is a young coconut BotBot, and they're both like, oh, because they don't want to be eaten. Then more lemonade, and then Burgertron pondering space, I guess. And yeah, back to lemonade again. I think there's a lot of BotBots this time around compared to last time. Yeah. So here's Lemonade trying to be angry because he's just a very frail, very kind of wimpy little guy. So he's not really an angry character. He's just a very peppy, happy-go-lucky, and shy character. He's trying to get angry. It's too hard. And he's asking Ringling, how is she so angry all the time? Because while I don't think of this now, it's just my first impression of Ringling as a character in BotBots is that she's an angry character, because her whole time in the show is being angry. I mean, which is understandable, because her only scene in the show is just getting fought over by the Lost Bots, who are kind of poking at her like a toy, and then they try to kill her by throwing her into a pit of fire. So I mean, she's pretty much 99% angry the whole time, except for when she jumps into Dave's pocket. So at this time, I thought she's just a very angry character, just like that kind of character. So anyway, so she's angry, but she's just saying, yeah, he makes it easy to be angry all the time, but like, because that's how I characterized her originally. I wouldn't say so now, but whatever. Then more lemonade, more Doodles of BotBots. That's Game Over. That's Snorg from the show. I think he looks like those weird McDonald's mascot guys. And Quackles, which is like one of the more known BotBots, just because people put him with Beast Wars and Megatron because he's like a little rubber duck. Anyway, yeah, like he's this guy. So anyway, more BotBot OCs. Well, yeah, I made this to an adopt of like a little dinosaur based off of this plushie I had. This one's just like a little toy truck. More Gilbert Gellert doodles. He's driving a forklift. He has his license. Gilbert Gellert eating a soda dispenser machine or stealing it. And I think this is, yeah, these are like very garbage doodle sketchy thingies I was doing for like this meetup I had with some people from my school. Yeah, because we were at a park. We were chilling there for a bit and then we went to karaoke. And Gilbert Gellert again. But I was trying to redesign him to look more dynamic. I don't know. More BotBot OC ideas, but these are I was trying to make up adopts because I haven't made adopts in a while and I like to get money sometimes. So these were some ideas for it. I didn't really do anything with this though. More cuddle tooth BotBots. She's like my favorite BotBot design. She's like a little chainsaw and I think she's like so cute. So you'll probably see her a lot here. Here, robot OCs, not affiliated with Transformers at all. This is Hellraiser and Revo. These two are related in story. I'm not going to say a whole bunch on that, but this robot overlord has something to do with like some trauma that Revo has. So more BotBot sketching. This was for like doodle request ideas that I was asking on Instagram. Someone said an egg, and instead of doing like a normal chicken egg, I decided to make a BotBot out of a bamboo shark egg because I've seen these eggs in several aquarium stores because bamboo sharks is like one of the more popular aquarium sharks people have in their homes. Which isn't to say having a shark is popular, but it's like of the kinds of sharks people have, bamboo shark is like the one for like the maybe high level aquarists, casual home aquarists to have. So anyway, me being extra and edgy. And these are little BotBot plushie ideas. And a lot of these ended up becoming actual adopts that I've sold or characters. This was the original idea for Trinodon. And yeah, I put like the image of like what these actually ended up becoming. So yeah, these are pretty much all sold, I think. More Instagram doodle requests. Rung from More Than Meets the Eye Lost Light. Revo. Iron Giant. I think, yeah, I was drawing these because I was putting the connection together between the Iron Giant movie versus the Bumblebee movie and how they're like have very similar stories, that being alien robot from space, having a human companion, and another side guy character, and having that moment where they go crazy berserk and want to kill somebody, but then their human companion person's like, no, don't do that. And yeah. And hot take or hot opinion, I guess, it's like, I actually hate the Bumblebee movie. I think that's one of the movies people like, oh, finally Transformers has a good movie, but I'm like, I straight up I hate that movie. It's just because it's so painfully boring and plain to me. Yeah. I could just have to plug that in. It's like, because a lot of people say that's the top Transformers movie, and I'm like, our bar is not that high here, people. That a very standard, very boring movie is seen as top tier, but whatever. Anyway, and this is doodling of 24K bit for a art trade I had with somebody. And I'll show the art piece. Actually, I can show it now. Yeah, because it's supposed to be I was doing an art trade, and the 24K bit is the subject. Yeah, because he's like a little token character in the BotBot show. He's just a very chill guy who wants people to have a good time in the arcade, but he's like not treated very nicely. Where is it? Okay, so I can't seem to quickly pull it out just to show y'all. I think I misplaced. Oh no, there we go. Yeah, ended up making this sketch page of him. Yeah, that was my initial doodles. Like, I find that like as the year passed, I think I just didn't plan out a lot of the sketches here on Sketchbook, or at least the sketches that would become final pieces. I just ended up doing on a computer instead. So yeah. Anyway, I was trying to come up with what words he would say And yeah. And then Gilbert doodling. More lemonade story ideas, and here's where I came up with the idea that my OC lemonade would be the boyfriend or conjunction of the BotBot Cuddletooth, because I thought the contrast would be funny that because Cuddletooth in herself is a kind of like a contrasty character because she's a chainsaw, but in her original bio she's described to be like wanting hugs from people, but she can't because then her chainsaws start revving or she cuts somebody. And I thought it'd be funny, it's like, what if they were dating? But it's like for Lemonade, of course, that's like a scary thing because he's like a little wimpy tree guy versus like a chainsaw. And then I didn't have it perfectly put in my head like how they end up becoming a thing, but they are in my head now. So yeah, this is more BotBot doodling for adopts and whatever. Forgot what kind of dinosaur this was, but we got Carnotaur. I didn't actually make the sheets for these yet because I wanted to keep Carnotaur, but whatever. More OC adopt doodling ideas. This one's sold. Yeah, and probably like my most popular BotBot OC adopt idea. He was sold. And yeah, here's some doodles for Ninja Karki about him. And more BotBot ideas. Yeah, I was trying to come up with the best way to draw them out. I kind of like the idea of this one. It's like a big bug turns into a train. I think that's so cool idea. Here's me trying to figure out what Gilbert looks like without clothes. And honestly, at this point, I decided that he's just never going to have this kind of reference sheet. Like I said before, it's kind of normal for furries to have to either be drawn without clothes or have a reference sheet to have them without clothes. So it's easy to put outfits on them. But I'm like, no, Gilbert Garrett's always just going to be a head, a tail, his gloved hands, and like his feet. Because it's weird to think about what he looks like without clothes. Anyway, and so here is me making a little BotBot squad called the Paleo Pals, which would be little plushy dinos. And yeah, here's some like the dinosaurs and like the pun name and their kind of general personality and disposition. I legit forgot about this until I'm showing it to you guys right now. Like, I'm not joking. Like, I legit forgot about these these characters. It's so sad. But yeah, see, here they are, just cute little guys. A very stern, very serious Brontosaurus gal who's kind of secretly insecure. A Baryonyx who's either a berry sundae dessert or the blackberry fruit. This ended up becoming an adopt that I sold. So this is Carnotaurus, who is a very camera happy guy who likes to show people around the people meaning BotBots around the mall. This is Argylosaurus from before. And yeah, here's some other BotBot ideas of desserts, because I like in adoptables the themes of food, especially desserts, because I like the colors that come from that. So yeah, Baryonyx again, blackberry and a coconut bat, but I couldn't think of a pun. Here's Dragonata, who's a mangonata and a dragon. Here's Empanadino, or Dino Panada, which is empanada and a dinosaur. And yeah, Pitaya, or a sea slug, basically dragon fruit that turned into a sea slug. And here's me trying to be edgy with Argylosaurus and Pteranodon. Oh, I forgot to talk about Pteranodon's personality. So Pteranodon is a little superhero guy who wants, because he's like actually like a little baby chew toy who woke up in the comic book store in the BotBot mall. He was there because I guess some baby dropped his toy. But being in the comic book store, Pteranodon kind of gets this persona that he wants to be a superhero and save and help others. And Argylosaurus, in that way, wants to see himself as a very cool, almost antagonistic character. So here's me trying to be edgy about it. It's where Argylosaurus is being mean and a bully. He's like, oh, it's easy for you to want to be kind or for people to be nice to you because look at me, I'm just a torn up dog toy that was created to be torn to shreds, and that's all I was ever meant to be. And it's like, how would you know what it's like to be me when you were created meant to be loved? And then he's crying, and then Pteranodon's helping him out with that. which is kind of edgy, I'm not gonna lie. But low key, I like the contrast of that, of like how cute these characters would look like versus like honestly the very scary nature of being a bot. It's like thinking about it, it's kind of like sad because bots are created for human function, not to be used by humans for a purpose. But it's like if they kind of go too deep into that wormhole of thought, it's very sad. Anyway, Lemonade cleaning something with a paintbrush. Pteranodon eating popcorn and Sprinkleberry, I don't know. More Gilbert Geller doodling. Him in like a very stereotypical 80s, 90s exercise spandex uniform thing. More, yeah, just thems. And then Gilbert Geller doodling again. I was trying to think of like his backstory a little bit, because like this would be like, I forgot what I even named the city that he's trying to fight for control over, but basically, yeah, supervillain, the city he wants to rule over, and just him pondering it all and whatever. And also trying to think, does he have like an edgy backstory, or is he just like a goofy villain character or whatever, no edge. But yeah, his arms are metal, by the way. Blank page because I didn't feel like drawing there. Here's me trying to think, oh, what if I made money from art and blah blah blah. Ideas about that. And a fan art ideas that I never got around to. And yeah, these are two like one-off OCs that I had thought of one morning. Basically, I guess it's very easy for me to make OCs, but actually drawing them out, that's the hard part, right? But anyway, so this is the story of like a knight and a cowboy. So the knight is essentially it's like the kind of knight who did the crusades in the Middle Ages times or whatever, killing people who under the Pope or whoever's rule was saying was like evil and should be eliminated from the earth. But he was cursed into, and I don't really do stories with magic or whatever a lot, but anyway, this knight, after all his like crimes against like humanity or whatever, he was cursed into this chain metal by someone who was dying because he killed them, right? And this dying person, the last of their town, put a curse upon him, saying like, basically, for the lack of love you have for others, shall there be a lack of love given towards you? And of course, he was cursed to be enchanted chainmail and knight armor. And of course, if you're like a knight who is a crusader, he's like an abomination to his fellow crusader people. And so he can never find love because he's not a human being. He's just a living metal. And no one's gonna love him, and that's how he feels about himself now, that he's never gonna find love or whatever. And then everyone kind of assumes this curse. And then once that the one who cursed him dies, they never give like the idea it's like, oh, he can never turn back to a human again. They're just like, nope, you're cursed. Screw you, I'm dying. And so this crusader knight, he has no choice but to just go away from his fellow crusaders, because he knows that if he goes back to them, he's going to probably be melted or something. Like, they're not going to let him live. So he just runs away from everybody. And somehow this enchanted piece of metal guy, he finds his way to the Midwest. Not Midwest, to the 1800s and to the cowboy times of the US, shortly after the Civil War. And so he's being driven by horse carriage to the west to decorate the home of some wealthy person. And this cowboy guy, he robs that carriage, and he's like, oh dang, I did all this, but it's just a stupid piece of metal. And then it turns out that stupid piece of metal is a around 6 foot tall crusader knight guy in armor. But then, and so they have this unlikely friendship of two different people, like this lawless, quote unquote, moralist cowboy guy, and this very self-righteous, wealthy background knight guy. And they try to make it work, and it's like a buddy cop duo type thing. Well, not really, they're not cops, but anyway, it's just this cowboy being like comedic relief, this guy being like the guy who's too serious. And yeah, Honestly, now that I'm talking about this, I'm kind of thinking of ideas. But I didn't actually do anything with them past this, I don't believe. So, yeah. He's a poet. He's a singer. All that kind of stuff. Oh, yeah, actually, I did. Like, well, look at that. Anyway. Yeah, I should visit these guys again. I think they're fun. Okay, this doodle of Gilbert Geller doodle. It's me drawing after I did some weightlifting at the gym, and my arms hurt a lot, and I didn't want to draw properly, so that's what I drew that day. Same thing here. And then this little doodle, I don't know. I was trying to practice what he'd look like from the back, and then yeah, I got this commissioned art out of this pose. This is like some kind of like art meme thing that was going around Twitter of like how kind of in reference to like early 2000s art of like edgy art of like, you know, someone who's crying, someone who's angry or something like that. I don't remember. Yeah, more doodling of Gulp Geller and his bat friend. And this one is my TF Sona Atlas holding a Megatron. Oh my goodness, no, a Metroplex action figure. And this is a doodle of one of my furry OCs, Kuketo, with his motorcycle, his dragon cycle, whatever. And here's me, well, Gilbert Gellert with Snorg. And at this time, I was going really brain rot over Snorg BotBots. This is Gilbert Gellert holding Pantone swatches, because that's when I came up with the idea that Gilbert Gellert is actually a graphic designer, and how he gets his money, other than like stealing from like rich, wealthy bank people online, is that he's like the main graphic designer of the city he's trying to take over. And so he poses himself as to be various high-end design firms. So he knows a lot about Pantone swatches and the proper way to structure UI, UX type stuff. Here's more lemonade doodling. And here's a art idea I had of a mother centipede with her babies. And the reason for this is because a lot of people are so annoying when they see images or videos of like bugs. They're always saying like, oh, I want to kill it, I want it dead. But this is based off like this one picture that I really liked of a centipede mom and her eggs, because they're just animals trying to live, and it's really annoying people want dead just because of that. More Reno doodling, and this is me trying to come up with like a little intro video thing for my YouTube stuff. But honestly, I'm taking this pretty chill. I'm not like super serious about being a video person on YouTube. I'm just doing whatever I want at the moment, and at that moment it's just being chill. But anyway, here's the idea. It's like me introducing myself. My name is Reno Varka. Here's me trying to make a logo and explaining that I'm a freelance artist who draws robots, plants, anthros, and so on. And then here's my digital art, and then I do character designs. And my goal is to be a 100% freelance artist, and then what I do for that. But yeah, I didn't go that far because I didn't end up making said video. Okay, and all right. So back to Lemonade BotBots. So the idea of Lemonade is that he's sort of, in a way, Dave BotBot's little adopted son. And I feel like it's kind of I'm trying not to cringe at that, but that's the idea I've had. It's like they have a little father-son kind of relationship going on, and this is Dave somehow taking Lemonade to the Northern Lights, like in real life, because Lemonade comes across something on the computer or a book that shows that, and he really wants to go. And let's pretend like a lemon tree wouldn't straight up die in the frozen weather like that. So yeah, here's him with a little sweater and little like coverings for his pot wings, and Dave taking him out. And here's the first time I've ever drawn a human in like years, and you're gonna see this character a lot. Not now, the next sketchbook. But yeah, I just was like super interested in Dave BotBots. I think he's a funny character. Whatever. Okay, bye. And then here's me drawing Gilbert Gellert, because I was at this time I was listening to like Dear Evan Hansen songs a lot. This one specifically being I forgot what it's called. I forgot. I'll put the title or something here, but it's like this edgy song of like when Evan Hansen reveals the fact that no, he was not friends with the guy who died. I forgot. I don't remember. But yeah, it's like this very sad sounding song. And this wasn't really like me venting or anything, I swear. It's just because I was listening to the song so much and I was imagining Gilbert Geller like doing a whole animatic to it. Alright, more Lemonade Doodles. Oh yeah, this one, that's just me saying I got an Omega Supreme plushie, because probably not the most wisest investments of my life, right? But I got this little plushie of Omega Supreme Transformers. I think it's so cute. Yeah. Then Lemonade Doodling, and this is where I came up with the idea that he likes to sing. This is where he's crying because Dave told him to shut up. No, he wouldn't say shut up, but he's like, yo, can you not sing when it's like 7 a.m. and I'm trying to go to sleep? This is Lemonade wearing, I don't know, a hat for some reason. I don't know, I thought it was cute. More Dave BotBots. Indian Doodling, more BotBots. This is Nampy, who is a part of the Goo Groupies, which is a group of BotBots in the original BotBot series, toy series, to take care of like. And here is Cribwatch, who is a BotBot who doesn't get a break or doesn't rest. They kind of just suffer and are super anxious all the time. This is Steve from accounting, who is a very anxious stapler. And here is Lemonade drawn in a meme kind of way. More lemonade, more lemonade. Just him expression. I think this was like me trying to imagine what he'd look like when they found out he was a BotBot. I think he'd be scared, actually. Yeah, Lemonade would be pretty scared of Dave, honestly. And this Excurrent Arte, yeah, so I don't know if you guys have seen this ad, but it's like Hotels.com has this ad where they give like hotels a personality, and the first one they ever made was for a beach resort in Mexico called the Excurrent Art. And that beach resort is kind of like very themed based on a lot of like Mexican art and stuff. And I don't know, I fell in love with the ad and the idea of like living hotels. And so this is like the alt form of that, or at least a rough idea of that alt form of that hotel, who turned into like a seaplane. And I was trying to incorporate the different parts of the art and the fact that they're very friendly kind of character. So here they would be wearing like inflatable tubey things to help save people. Right here they'd have things like sunblock, aloe vera, water along their chest. Here more inflatable rafty things, different pattern designs that are found throughout the hotel, like cobblestone. This is like the tile patterns and stuff, and a hat because it's hot. Yeah, stuff like that. This is me trying to imagine the BotBot character steered wrong, but like a Decepticon, because she has very Decepticon energy, I feel. So here's her as a giant truck, mining truck thing. And here is, what's his name? Not Sergeant Scrubdog, Sergeant Scrubforce from the BotBot show with the little cat ears, because people were doing that in one of the group chats I'm in. This is me saying, oh, I'm gonna be professional artist, blah blah blah. Here's my ideas of what I'm gonna do again. And yeah, this is all zine related stuff, so I can't really talk about it because I can't show the final piece of art yet. For the Femme Fatale zine, I can't even show it until next year, so I'm not going to really talk about these pages, but I'm just going to show it, I guess. So I'll talk about that some other time. And yeah, so the Great Batsby is just because I thought of a pun. Because there's this character in BotBot's named Batsby who is a bat, and the Great Gatsby, and yeah, because their pun is based off the name Gatsby. Okay, so the silly AU idea of Kick Me being Daisy, Bergatron being Tom, and Batsby being Gatsby. Here's more Lemonade looking like a little baby man, and then more Lemonade. I think this is where I started to try to make him a little bit more cutesy looking than in my original design. Oh yeah, this is not the cutesy part. This is like during one of my group chat things on Discord, they're like peeling different BotBot characters, or like basically taking away a lot of their main features to make it look like they're peeled, or you know, like making them ball or whatever. And so for Lemonade, what he looked like without leaves, he's just like a skeleton. Unlike, he looks like a nervous system had branches. So that's what he'd look like peeled. This is Lemonade with 2 different outfits that he would wear to bot prom. Like a little cape, a backpack, not a backpack, and just a little guitar case, because Lemonade has a guitar. Don't ask how he has a tiny working guitar. He just does. This is my not new, but I bought OC that I made called Analysis Paralysis, who's basically an anxious phone, which it works as Analysis Paralysis, anxious phone, AP. She's like now a BotBot phone that I use when I'm being super anxious or whatever. It like helps me like personify it and kind of see it as it being like a little silly in a way. So yeah. More Lemonade doodling and Lemonade Cultu. Yeah. And then doodle ideas for my BotBot OC, my top 3 BotBot OCs being Lemonade, Analysis Paralysis, and Pteranodon, like running to an ambiguous somewhere else. This is a BotBot OC idea called the Jaw Draker, or Doc Knock, who's basically like a dragon who turns into a giant mega jawbreaker. And he's like he's trying to be like a doctor, like to find out how to like repair and help his fellow BotBots. And his favorite habit is like knocking into people and making them unconscious. And this is a doodle of Lemonade and Cuddletooth. And oh yeah, these two, they actually have art pieces. I showed it before, but I'm gonna show them again. So this one is of Spud and a character of someone in one of the group chats named Plasmor. That's that art. And I think I can find the one for Lemonade without taking 1 million years. Oh, this happens when I don't super organize my stuff. 10. Oh yeah, this is when I started to begin thinking of a new ref sheet for Lemonade, because at this point I wanted to change up his design a little bit, make him a little bit more cutesy looking. Here's the rough ideas of it, and then I'll show what the actual new reference sheet ended up looking like. But I wanted to explore like having not just the full body as I did in more doodling of man, okay, I've got to try to condense all the brain rot conversations I've had on Discord into like a very small amount of time. Okay, so basically Lemonade, Cuddletooth, dating, whatever. Here's Spud Muffin and Cuddletooth, and then them fighting. Because in our little talkings, essentially like these two would not get along because Spud would bully Cuddletooth a lot. Like making fun of Lemonade and Cuddletooth. And yeah, they don't get along. That's what I'm just gonna say. To just summarize a whole bunch of conversations. Yeah. Then one of the most brain-rotting conversations we ever had was the idea of like making them all making the BotBot characters emo. So here's me drawing them and drawing Lemonade, but he's emo. Therefore, he's not happy, he's not smiling, he doesn't care, and he hates people, so. Doodling of 2 characters, Orion and what did I end up calling? This character changed a lot. So this is like a wolf character. Like, yeah, okay. I'll show like what the reference sheet, digital sketch things I ended up making for these two. But yeah, they're besties basically. A sheep and a wolf type thing. This guy changed a lot. Like he's like right here, he's just supposed to be a chill California guy, but I ended up making him to like an Appalachian guy. But anyway. Gilbert Gellert, me drawing him and stuff, and they're all friends essentially. So, and then Dave trying to play video games with Lemonade and Ringling, because I think they would get along. These 3 characters, or at least that's in my head. I would think that. And let me pull out the really this is gonna make me cringe. This is so bad. I'm gonna scream, cry, and throw up. But yeah, I kind of drew them a little bit. Because I really like these characters. Okay, I think of like little story ideas as Ringling, Lemonade, and Dave, and I'm like, oh, this is so, this is terrible. I think this looks terrible. This piece, but yeah, that's what I drew from that. Just them hanging out, because I think they'd be friends. And these are 2 furry OCs. I think are dating. I don't know. I forgot. I just know these are characters I adopted from somebody. And another one of my Discord group conversation brain rot things is that Dr. Flaskenstein from the BotBot show kind of looks like a minion. So we came up with the idea that the Dr. Flaskenstein is a like fan of minions, and they have a minion Sona, and they're just obsessed with minions and share terrible minion Facebook memes unironically. Yeah, and more doodles of Persona Man, Lemonade, and these ended up becoming expressions on that Lemonade sheet. I'll show again here. And then here's Ringling and Analysis Paralysis being besties, I guess. And yeah, this whole page is a bunch of BotBot doodling. And this right here is during a group chat conversation. We're talking about like how Hot Diggity is a character that shows up in the BotBot show opening theme, but doesn't actually appear in the show at all. And we're thinking that we came up with the idea like they're just too cool for BotBots, that if Hot Diggity was in the show, she would be too cool and outshine Burgertron or something like that. But that she'd be like the cool person, so we're imagining that, oh, like she's in show, she's just a super cool girl, but her fatal flaw is that she's terrible at music, but she wants to get into music. So she asked Brock Lonely to give her like music DJ lessons, and yeah, she's just terrible, and he doesn't want to say anything because he's like, oh, someone cool actually cares about me, wow. But yeah. Anyway, bunch of other BotBots from the original line. I forgot, like, oh, I know this is like banana peel pun monkey guy. I forgot. This is birthday cake. That's a s'mores. Forgot. That's a hatchet. I forgot. That's avocado. That's a sprinkling can iron. I know that's Crumbly Yumbly, who's a bitten chocolate chip cookie. That's a macaron dragon character. I forgot. That's me trying to draw, but it's like midnight and my eyes are burning. And this is just a dump of different BotBots in show and not show, because that's Nampy. That's Wasabi, who is like a sushi dragon. This is Fodlebart, Cribwatch, I forgot. Cuts with being angry with Lemonade, because Lemonade is getting the dance dip, is getting dipped during a dance as opposed to Cuddletooth. And this is the fan design of someone's I put the name of Willy Demon's redesign of the BotBot character Sugar Breath, but done for the show. And I it's so cute. I love this redesign of Sugar Breath, who's supposed to be like a candy corn dragon, which is like, what a weird combination to come up with in the first place. But yeah, candy corn dragon, and I love this design. It's so cute. And I had the idea like Dimlet and Sugar Breath would be friends. That's just Batsby, and that's oh no, he's like my fave. Why am I forgetting? Kid Clobber. And here's Lemonade being insecure about being a tiny little lemon tree guy, because this is like the size of an actual dwarf lemon tree. This is the size of Lemonade, which would be right here, to give you scale of like how small he is. And that's the size of a houseplant of like his actual alt mode. He's like a houseplant sized lemon tree. And my idea for him is that he'd be like very insecure as a little guy. So, because he's kind of weak and kind of pathetic. He's just nice and shy, but he's like, man, I wish I was a tree like that. And my idea behind this was like, if he wasn't left in the dark side of the mall, he would have been like a warrior type of character like Bonsai is. It's just the fact that he was left at the mall, left to get like really weak, almost die, and then take care of by Dave, who's not exactly an expert in plants, or probably like an expert in taking care of anything, honestly. That he became like a little weak little guy. And while he doesn't harbor any resentment or anger, it's like, man, I wish I was buff or something. Anyway, this is like Gilbert Gellert, but like in a more mad scientist kind of outfit, like a lot of science characters are drawn in. These are doodles that I did for an art fight piece, which basically was a big ensemble of various people's characters all together interacting. So on art fight, I looked up BotBot OCs and I doodled them so I can get a feel for them, and here they are together. And this is doodles of all of them. I think there's like one or two that I didn't actually end up putting in the final piece, but yeah. Yeah, and here are more Dave Lemonade doodles. I'm slightly getting slowly better at drawing him. Anyway, this is like after making a really sucky looking kind of sketch page of trying to draw Dave in the actual show style. Ugh, I kind of cringe looking at it, but anyway, me trying to get there, and just Lemonade seeing that there's a bunch of lemon cookies that Day Shift left out, and he ate all of it, and he's bloated with them, I guess. So Dave's trying to poke and make sure he's okay. And this is Ringling and Lemonade jamming out to some tunes, being annoying. And yeah, more bots chilling and hanging out. Lemonade giving Cuddletooth a high five. Him with roller skates. Him passing out on the floor after getting that high five, because in the group chat that I was in, we were discussing how Cuddletooth being a shedhead, or basically a bot from like the outdoor store or whatever. She's like super strong and probably dense. So her giving this weak little lemon tree guy a high five probably like makes him collapse or something. And doodling of Lemonade hiding from Dave, I guess. I don't know. And more doodling like of the energy Dave would have finding that the lemon tree that he has in his house is actually like some little guy. More trying to figure out how he looks like. Me thinking about Lemonade from like dying to like not dying. And me having Lemonade sing Biggering from the Lorax soundtrack, because I was listening to that a lot. More doodles and whatever. More like, oh, what if I'm a professional artist ideas, whatever. And a little doodle of Thunder from Super Giant Robot Brothers, which is a very good Netflix show. You should watch it. And a doodle of the idea of like a holoform or a human version of Ulf from BotBots. And my idea was that she is a motorcyclist or like a roller skater. So here's like the outfits I would give her. Oh yeah, and then here's Dex and Orion from earlier. But yeah, so I was actually, so yeah, at this point I figured out they were besties, and he's like a Silicon Valley tech bro kind of character. Dex, who I renamed to, I forgot what I actually named him, but anyway, he turned from like a California surfer kind of guy into like an Appalachian wolf who lives in the woods. And this sketch right here is just the idea of, I was trying to think about how are they friends, how did they meet, and one of the ideas I had, it's like they were childhood friends somehow, but then they grew apart because whatever. I legit don't know. But either way, the idea is that Orion finds his way back into the neck of the woods where this wolf guy lives, and this wolf who has to deal with different prospectors trying to take over the forest and land. He's on the defensive, so once he sees this and smells this kind of like city person walking around, he goes to attack Orion, but then he realizes like, oh yeah, I know you, you're my childhood bestie, I have no problems with you, whatever. So yeah, that's basically it. And he has a little doodle idea of like them hanging out, like Dex showing Orion around the forest again. Like, I don't have that much story for them. Anyway, here is me doodling some stuff out of frustrations I had with various people, be it in DMs or elsewhere, about my character Lemonade. Someone's asking me why is his name Lemonade if he's not like a glass of lemonade, and the legit reason for me is like, I don't know. I don't know why I named him Lemonade, because he's a helpful guy who's a lemon tree, and aid as in AID as in like help. Whatever. I don't know. It just felt nice. And plus I thought it'd be weird if he actually was the idea of like him being like Dave's son, but actually being a glass of lemonade, since Dave is shown to actually like the drink lemonade. So I don't know. I felt that was weird. And then someone who was commenting as to why did I call Lemonade brittle or weak in his reference sheet when he doesn't look that way. And I was like, he's brittle and weak because he's not as big as a normal dwarf lemon tree would be. So he's very small, like he's stunted, like he's malgrown, but like in the way that he's too small actually. And he's a weak little guy, like how Dave himself is kind of like weak and pathetic and gets tired easily. Same thing with Lemonade. Anyway, this is like the layouts I was gonna have for like 2 reference sheets. I wanted to make a reference sheets for my robot OC who's named Bravo. I wanted to make a new reference sheets for a while now. Here's me trying to think of like how to structure it. I never got around to it. And here's me trying to think of like how to make a Reno reference sheet like for my mascot. I didn't get around for it either. And this is just me doodling Coffee Miss Prime, who is a BotBot, because I wanted to do a little clout art piece, I guess. Not really clout because I don't really get clout, but just basically like a little crossover between BotBots with another canon Transformers character again, that being Optimus Prime, and these 2 meeting because I think Coffee Miss Prime, who's basically like a coffee mug who's cosplays as Optimus Prime, I think that'd be cute. Didn't get around to it. And more Dave sketching. This is I remember now. These are actually drawn before those previous 2 art pieces I showed earlier of Dave. It was just me trying to nail down how do I think this character would look like, because I think Dave BotBots is weird. Like he's actually one of my favorite characters right now because I think he's funny, he's dumb, he's silly, but he has a good heart. So he's actually one of my favorite characters who's running around in my head, rotating in 3D right now. But I don't know what I'm supposed to interpret his face to look like. Like, I think he looks weird. When I look at him in this show, it's like he bothers me. Like, it viscerally makes me cringe to look at this character. Just because the proportions of how he's drawn with, like, sometimes tiny little baby hands, but he has a super long head. And sometimes, depending on how he's angled, it looks so weird to look at this character. But yeah, I'm trying to understand how I would draw him in my own style. More Lemonade doodling, more. And this one's just a little doodle sketch of a little prompt I had from because I paid for this little course of children's book illustration, and one of them prompts that was given as far as like figuring out like composition, whatever, was like a child having an unexpected pet and their parents are there somewhere. And so this is my idea of like a little boy from the city with very like kind of uppity parents. He's like very into the farm lifestyle, and his pet that he wants to have is a longhorn bull. No, like a Highland cattle. And then his parents are like, oh yikes, no. Oh yeah, and then right here is that actual piece. Like I'm getting some mixed up, guys. I am sorry, but yeah, because that art piece is actually the one that has Dave and Lemonade together, that piece. Yeah. I can't believe I used a light box for this, but it ended up so dirty and messy anyway. I was like, ugh. But I actually like the way Lemonade looks, but and in the final piece, if you saw it, like when I posted, I ended up omitting this logo thing because I thought this ended up looking creepy. But yeah, it's like, ugh. I don't know. It's cringe, in my opinion. Anyway. This is a drawing of my robot OC Hellraiser. Again with Revo. Because I would actually redo this character for a rough sheet, but haven't gone around to it. And this is Lemonade, Wrinkling, and Pteranodon again, of that little doodle I had earlier in the sketchbook tour. But yeah, I want to draw them together at some point, but I have not gone around to it. And yeah, I don't there's not really explanation for this one. It's just I was listening to the Big Ring from the Lorax soundtrack, and then someone in the group chat said that Dave should be like the Onceler and Lemonade like the Lorax, and I'm like, that's very cursed and I don't like you, but I did it anyway. Oh yeah, and this is that very rambly video I had last time where I'm talking about how I would redraw the BotBot picture book. So I'm not going to really go into deep detail here because I already did that, to be honest. So I'm not going to do it again. But yeah, here's that page in its entirety where I'm laying out where things are in that picture book and how I would structure it and listing out the characters that have to redraw and everything. So I'm not gonna go over it again because I already did that. So anyway, these are blank because I gotta develop the paces here. So I'll probably make that in a different video. The sketch was for a commission that's on hold right now of someone's Mass Effect OC character. Very interesting lore for Mass Effect. I didn't really know about it, but it's like, you know, I kind of forget that I'm actually into kind of like science fiction stuff. The only science fiction I've been recently diving into is Transformers. I haven't done anything else, but it's very interesting to learn about the world building in Mass Effect. And this particular race, he created the Gaff, and how the creation of this AI led to the demise of their own lifestyle, and they live on a ship and everything. So anyway, this is sketches of Revo, my mascot Sona. This is like a little doodle I did for a commission. Yeah, this ended up being completed. Let me pull it out real quick. Yeah, of someone's little mini bot OC named Monitor, who is a little medic. Yeah, this is what it ended up looking like. I didn't use a light box for this one. I kind of just eyeballed it, which is pretty neat. And at this time, when I was drawing this, I was taking a little week-long hiatus from social media, and I was going through stuff mentally in my head. And then at this time, I was really going into the story of Van Gogh, because I never knew about Van Gogh, but I just saw like a documentary recommended in my YouTube feed. And also I've seen people mention the film called Loving Vincent, which is a film that was done in all oil paintings, done about this man who's trying to figure out how did the artist Van Gogh die after he's trying to deliver this letter to the brother of Van Gogh. And it was, I don't know, I was so deeply touched about that movie, but then also the life of Vincent Van Gogh. And honestly, I was someone who always loved sunflowers. Like, I didn't know about Van Gogh, but it's like I've always had this very deep feeling about sunflowers, and just learning about the life of Van Gogh and everything and what he'd been through. It was just like, I don't know, it's too deep for me to put into words, but I was really feeling it at the moment. So I kind of just drew my Sona in a field of sunflowers with a petal, and I might do something with this, I don't know. But yeah, here are sketches from that Mass Effect commission I was just talking about, or at least concepts that I gave to the commissioner, or client, I guess I should say. These are doodles of my OC named Guy. And he is from the Supergiant Robot Brothers story. Yeah. And so Guy is a robot character who's smaller than Shiny. I'll put like the little doodles I had of this character here. He's smaller than Shiny. He's part of the ERA, who is the group that's trying to fight against the kaiju from space. And so the story of Guy is that he is a sentient city AI who, for whatever reason, after some time being an experimental sentient city, was put into the body of a giant robot. And he finds himself kind of like abandoned near the desert of the ERA. And he's just kind of feeling like super empty inside, because he's like, he used to be a city full of people, but for some reason, like, that life was taken away from him, and he doesn't know what happened to his citizens. And I always love this idea of sentient cities, in case my infatuation with Metroplex Transformers hasn't said anything. But anyway. Yeah, anyway. So this character, who's sentient city, he doesn't know what to do with himself, but he decides to help the Robot Brothers when he sees Shiny and Thunder fighting a kaiju. But he's not there to help fight the kaiju. He's just there to help clean up the mess and help them avoid from destroying the city further. But yeah, so anyway, so he joins the ERA as someone who likes to clean, someone who does the customer service kind of stuff, as in he deals with talking to the public and resolving issues in that way. And yeah, he's part of the goo crew, as Shiny puts it, as the people who clean up the messes after Shiny and Thunder have kaiju battles and so on. And he's kind of like nervous around other people, especially like nervous around humans that are not his like Goo Crew teammates, especially that one unhinged news reporter in the show who's going crazy and going off, because she would definitely call up the ERA hotline and complain to Guy a lot. And the reason this character's name is Guy is one, because I didn't know what to name him, and two, it's like he'd introduce himself as just some guy, like he's no one special and blah blah blah, but it's like he's a giant robot, so he's not just some guy, but that's what he goes by. Anyway. And all right, so this is me kind of doodling the idea of like, what if Lemonade wasn't left in the dark side of the mall and he actually became the lemon shirt he was meant to be or whatever. And this is like normal version Lemonade and then Lemon Gain. So he would basically be like a buff warrior type of character, because I kind of based the body structure on Spud Muffin, given that, like, you know, that bulky kind of look, I guess. Because Lemonade is actually in BotBot height. He is the height of Spud Muffin, but he's just like wimpy and lame. But as Lemon Gain, he's not. He's buff and stuff. So yeah. And then this doodle is just, I don't know, Dave BotBot's thrown up or something. Oh, we're almost done here. Wow. Anyway, some more Dave BotBot doodling stuff, trying to figure out what he looks like. And then Burgertron trying to scare Dimlet to be scared of Dave because he's like a big kaiju monster. Like that's what I think about sometimes a lot when I'm having my brain rot from BotBots and whatever. It's like the differences in how the different kinds of BotBots see the world. Like the food BotBots would definitely see the world as a lot more scarier place, I believe, than like every other kind of BotBot who's just an item. Well, perhaps except for the Goo Groupies who directly are involved with babies in the daycare. Better than that, like the food BotBots, they would be the ones who are like super scared because humans actually eat them, right? And then so in the show, we're only talking about like one human. This one human just eating anything he can see on the floor. I would think that he's actually kind of very terrifying to these food BotBots, and like how a lot of BotBots just don't see that. And so for like someone like Burgertron and the others who are food, it's like he's kind of like a kaiju of sorts who wants to eat them alive. And so yeah, it's just him trying to scare Dimlet. Anyway, and then so here's Dave BotBot telling me to get out because I'm being cringe and annoying. And oh man, guys, I'm telling you, you're gonna see a lot more Dave BotBots in the future in this sketchbook. Oh my goodness, because man, my brain is so wrought with ideas about this guy. I am not lying. Anyway, yeah, and then okay, trying to calm down. I'm trying not to think about Dave right now. Anyway, and here is Dave capturing Lemonade. And yeah, here's me trying to draw Dave without actually looking at a picture of him online. It's pretty bad. Anyway, Dave capturing Lemonade. And here's Lemonade crying because it's a big baby about it. And just Dave's kind of like, I just want to know why, one, you're hiding the fact that you're a little robot guy. And two, why you're in my house. But anyway. And then here's a little doodle of the adopts. I have two adopts that I sold that I showed earlier in the sketchbook because I actually was commissioned to finish these designs and as character design. And yeah, here's just me doodling them in a meme kind of way because that's what I thought. Because this guy is a serious one. This one's the chill one. So anyway, and with that, wow, this is done way quick. Not gonna lie. Yeah, and then we're done. We end up with a bunch of Dave doodles and then smoking Lemonade. Okay, y'all. Like, Lemonade wouldn't smoke. I don't think he can smoke. I don't condone smoking. And, yeah, because he's a tree. He can't smoke, right? But this is just in reference to one of the funniest pieces of concept art I've seen online, which is by one Turkish artist who worked on BotBots for the development part. And it's funny because he shows two characters, Burgertron and Dimlet, like, smoking. And this guy, he usually works in adult cartoons, but for some reason, it seemed like a good idea to have Dimlet and Burgertron smoking in his portfolio for like a kids show. And it's funny because he draws all the characters pissed off or they're like in a midlife crisis. And for Dimlet, there's like 2 versions of him smoking. So yeah, I kind of just drew that for Lemonade because I thought it was funny. And I drew this in Lemonade because it's another meme. And I kind of want to draw Lemonade in a whole bunch of memey kind of ways because I don't know, because I think it's funny. But yeah. And this is pretty much where the sketchbook ends. And I'm going to try to finish this last set of 300 this year. Because I think it'd be cool if this big fat sketchbook was the entirety of 2022. Oh, look at that. Sketches I've done out of order. Anyway, that's what I told you earlier. It's like I don't always draw in the sketchbook in chronological order. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to try to finish this by the end of the year. I think it's doable if I do like 3 pages a day, I think. Because I have like 100 or so days left in the year. I think it's possible. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much where the sketchbook ends. So this time around, we had a lot more Transformers, specifically BotBots going on, as opposed to like the first 150 where we talked about a bunch of furry stuff. And this next 150, we're gonna have a lot of Dave BotBots in there, but also gonna have a lot more sketches and doodling for more developed art pieces as I'm trying to go along here. I have several project ideas in mind that I did not mention here that I feel a bit more confident about, but yeah, and with that, that's the end of the video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was sort of interesting to see what I do in my sketchbook. I don't know if it's fun to necessarily watch like someone's sketchbook tour, but to just see what I go through for 150. Sorry, I couldn't really talk about some pages because they're zine pieces, so I not allowed to really talk about them or the ideas I had them in depth. But maybe in the future I can. Or maybe in the next sketchbook tour I'll be able to. But in that case, I'll be heading off, and